Black Bean Samson here. It is 9 o'clock, August 28th, 2018. So this is about the case of that 9-year-old Colorado boy committing suicide because he came out gay, and the mother is essentially blaming the children at school for bullying him into suicide. Now, as soon as I heard this story, it was like last night. I read a little bit of something, but I didn't have much detail. But and I didn't know if it was even true or not. Because a lot of times the stuff I find, it's within minutes, within an hour or two being out, and it's not always dependable to an extent. At least all the information within it is usually not dependable. But as I was heading to work here, it was on the radio, it came on that case. What really first comes to my mind when I first hear about this is some short SJW bull haircut, dyed pink, with a nose piercing, someone that would be considered a female, but probably considers themselves 5 different genders. And it's astonishing that, it's not astonishing. What is astonishing is that she is sitting there blaming the children at school. I don't care how much bullying that you get in your life. I was bullied when I was a kid. A lot of kids are bullied as they grow up. You live and you push through it. And you know what's awesome is when you have true love, true support. It doesn't matter how much bullying you get. No matter what, all of it will just, it's like the old saying, I'm rubber, you're glue. Anything you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. Something like that, it's the sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I mean, unless these people are conflicting physical trauma to this kid, which I don't understand why they would commit suicide from that. I never understood why people think suicide comes from being bullied. Like, suicide comes from the lack of love in the family, a lack of truth and honesty. That's why as soon as I hear this story, I visualize. I have no idea what this woman looks like. I don't even know what the kid looks like. At least I don't think so. Though I did see, maybe I'd seen a picture of the kid. Maybe I did see a picture of the kid. Maybe. I don't know. But I know I didn't see no picture of the mother or anything. Excuse me. But I just as soon as I hear it, I just visualize some SJW freak looking thing, like just it's and is that bad of me? I don't think so. I think it's an indicator that right now we're living in a time where all these SJW people are literally promoting gender dysphorias, and they push for it. They're actually they're brainwashing their kids into believing something that's not true, and then the result is of them killing themselves. What's interesting too is and this is pretty recent, so maybe there'll be more coming, but this kid must have had some friends, and if he didn't, well, then you gotta ask yourself, why didn't he have no friends? Like, what is the parent doing wrong to not help the child become socially accepted, or at least have an ability to be like socially interactive, to make friends and stuff. Like there's something weird there. Like whenever I hear people who are in their like 20s and they've never dated, they've never been with anybody, like dating wise, don't have sex till you have marriage. But if you haven't had any holding hands, I mean, like going on a date to the prom, or, I mean, and then like there's some people that just never have had that. I never went to prom myself, but I had dates when I was kid. There was other school dances that I went to, but not the prom. But so it's like, I mean, and there's also just going on a date, like asking a girl on a date and going out. Like there's a lot of people who have never done any of that or had that opportunity growing up until they're like mid-20s and stuff. And it's like so weird. It's like, what's wrong with you, parents? What are you coddling these kids for? Actually, they're not kids, they're adults. Like, as soon as they turn 18, you should be like, get the fuck out of this nest, excuse my French. Push them out there. Know how to fly. I mean, geez, birds are flying and going on their own within 5 months of after being hatched. Well, probably less than that. Probably less than that for a majority of birds. So it astonishes me. Oh, that's off topic. But it astonishes me that we live in a time where we can sit here and say that bullying is the cause, but yet not having the child leave the nest at a traditional time is not somehow trauma to the mind. I mean, I understand certain circumstances, but I tell you what, people who don't leave the nest at a certain age, or at a young age, just are a little out there. They're a little strange. They get a little strange. They're all attached to their parents. It's like their parents are like the manifestation for that Bubba thing, whatever they stick in their pacifier. That's what it is. It's like a physical manifestation of that pacifier for them now. It's something that helps them cope or something. I don't know. That just... So, it's a sad time for this family of this 9-year-old child in Colorado. But I think it's a lesson learned for many others. I think it's a lesson learned to understand that children who are being fed information that makes them think that they are otherwise what they objectively can see. So if you can see that you have female or male body parts, you don't try to persuade them or make them think or lead them to thinking. Even if they ask, there's ways of going about it without being like, you can decide whatever you want. Well, if you're being like raised by a single mother, well, and you probably been all you've heard is hatred towards men, well, you might not want to be a man. You might be like, I kind of feel like a girl. Well, it's no wonder, since you were just raised by a single mother, never having a father in your life, hearing how men have been talked down upon all your entire 9 years of your life. Now, I really don't know if this is the case of this 9-year-old child. But if I was to guess, like I said, as soon as I hear about the story, it's an SJW. And I've never met an SJW that does not talk shit about men. More specifically, white men. More specifically, but she was in an interview, I did hear her voice, and she sounded white. So definitely, definitely a white person. And pretty much guarantee white SJW. I'm seeing like some dyed blue or pink hair going on, bowl cut, nose piercing, tattoos, short, kind of going for the bowling ball style. Perhaps that's what I'm seeing. It's that or really petite and dreads and just tattoos and piercings up the fucking wazoo. Are super trailer trashy looking. I don't see trailer trashy looking. A lot of trailer trashy people actually have a lot of compassion for their family. It seems like, surprisingly, like for the word, you would think that they wouldn't be good for their family, but a lot of those trailer, quote unquote, trailer trash people, they seem to be a lot better than the SJW people. In fact, I would contend. I would prefer having my kids raised by trailer trash people, quote unquote. No offense to yous, but I'd rather have my kids raised by yous than any SJW at any time. So that is the God honest truth to that. Yeah, so it's a lesson learned, I think, for us to see that where the road is going to lead to us in the next. It's not even really a lesson. It's like a prediction of what the future is going to lead to. We're going to see possibly an uprise on a lot of these young kids committing suicide, and then the parents blaming the other children or other people in their life. And I guarantee there's going to be something that we're all going to be like, well, they all have something similar. Not that the fact that it was a child committing suicide that's similar, but yet all the parents are left-leaning, well, you could just see them and know that they're SJW. There's going to be a correlation. I have a feeling there's going to be a correlation. Not to say that they're, people that outside of this are not committing suicide. Like people coming from religion, family households. But surprisingly, that's even low. That's even low. Some people come out of that traumatized and but I think there's something also going on within that family that's just not being talked about. So that's the thing, like, evil is interesting. Evil will point at something and be like, that's evil. Good will point out things that are good too, but good doesn't really aim to do that. It really tries to point out the evil. But what evil never does is never point out the good. I mean, unless I take that back. Unless it is to perpetuate their evil, of course. Like, I do something good for you, but here's the thing, there's a catch to it type of deal. And I think a lot of times within these families, this evil is so deep, so ingrained, and many of them, none of them want to speak up and tell the truth. None of them want to say that the mother would sit there and talk horrible about the father or whatever the case was. There's always these little subtle things that, it's not always about the small detail, but in an individual life, the small details lead to the bigger picture. Especially if the bigger picture is not known because of the silence. And that is one of the major issues within families, is that the family portrait has been censored in many ways. And as it becomes uncensored, you start to realize the evils that are hiding within the dark corners of many families. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, please like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Bye.